What?
Oh, trade off. Oh, sorry. Good evening. We will call the Moretown Park and Rec Crestbrook Golf Course Subcommittee regular meeting to order on Thursday, September 5th at 6:03. I'll do roll call. And Ken LaRosa. All right. Public participation. I see nobody. And we'll move on to approval of minutes.
So moved. Second. Oh, I don't
need a second. All right. Any additions, subtractions, deletions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, hold on. You said make it
shorthand. You gotta learn shorthand. Okay.
All right, so Joe and Pat.
Yeah.
Okay. That was August for August.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Nobody for correspondence. Oh no, there's the only thing in here is a list of tournaments from. Again, it's only yours. Two left, 3 left. The 22nd of September, the Solo Cup.
What is the do we like if there were open weekends still in the year?
It's a free for all.
You can still
get a tournament. Yeah. We'll even give you a Saturday now because it'll start quieting down. Our role is mainly between May 1st and Labor Day.
Yeah, and I remember in May, I think we said we wanted to get all applications in as many by May or something. But just
and the police department's the 4th, and then the hockey, Moretown Pomperaug High School hockey one is Sunday, October 20th. So that's all that's left. All right. So we will go on to reports. We'll do a chairman's report. The course held up very well after that monsoon we had a few weeks ago. I have some pictures, a couple pictures of the course if you want to see them. I happened to go up there. It's 6 inches of rain, Marty said, and it unfortunately washed out the electrical of the pool. But the course itself didn't really sustain any damage other than the usual sand trap washout that we get.
They did good at 6.
Yeah.
We got 11 in Oakville.
Did we? Okay.
My neighbor has a rain gauge.
Oh, really? Okay.
And he said about 11 inches. Wow. So just that little bit of difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shocking.
Your pictures still work.
Yeah,
I went down. I moved because of my mouth. Season's winding down here. Almost.
Yeah.
Well into September. Marty a little disappointed in play. He thinks that the weather, that 5-6, we complained last year, we complained about 5-6 weeks of rain. This year it's 5-6 weeks of 90 degree heat. It just people weren't going out in the middle of the day. You get busy in the morning, you get busy later at night, but the 11 to 4 was just, he's been quiet. Shaping up to be a good year from what he says, so that's a good thing. I was hoping he was here, but he's busy. He's starting to wind down for the night. Like I said, there's only 3 tournaments left. We'll discuss rates a little bit more than that and later, but other than that, that's really about it. Not much going on. All right. Catch up.
What was the last thing you mentioned? I was taking a note.
You're next. He said you're next.
No, I should let you catch up.
Okay. Yeah. But before that, what was before that?
Oh, there's really not much of a report. It's been just quieter
during
the week. Quieter in the week. During the afternoons have been quiet because of the heat.
Thank you.
Okay. Finish writing because you're next.
Okay. You saw some, most of you guys are up there, and for those that aren't, there's been some tree work done.
Oh, yeah.
Around, that's 1, and then coming around to the tee box at 2. I'm not sure what's on the other side of 2. Is there there's a hole over there?
Yeah.
Right? So that hole is going to be positively impacted, right? So the purpose of some of this tree work is so that the greens can stay healthy. Too much sun or not enough is going to impact the way the greens will play, how you have to treat the greens. So we're fortunate to have a knowledgeable superintendent up there that knows his stuff. The curbing is scheduled to be finished tomorrow. Hopefully Beasley will be up there. Other than that, I try to get up to the course as often as I can. As I'll report in the at the regular meeting, I'm setting my sights on some other parks now that we've got accomplished a few things at Crestwood. I've got a couple other things that I'm going to be trying to tend to. So hopefully we'll finish off the year strong with some good play. The culvert that went out for bid. There's a couple of projects that were close by. I'm not sure if the rationale was to try to have a contractor maybe piggyback one job off the other and maybe see if logistically it would save the town some money. I'm not sure where those bids landed, but the project was bid. I think it should hopefully be done in the next couple of months. I know we would have liked to have it been done a couple of weeks ago. And frankly, right now, they get contractors to be able to come up and do work when they're laying pipe everywhere and anywhere, and probably I'm guessing that supply is limited due to the recent storms. The timing wasn't helpful, you know, with what happened. But I think losing a culvert there is compared to the devastation that happened a month later. We'll get through it, and we'll be better when we come out of it on the other side. It's going to be repaired correctly. What I've learned about some of the pipes up there is probably 50, 60 years ago, there might have been water here, so let's run a pipe here. And so they get interconnected at some point, or they go from too big to too small, and then the volume just can't keep up with it, and it backs up. So now that they're going to be fixing, it's going to be done right. So I'm looking forward to that.
They have to they gotta run the pipe. I had heard at one point they might have to run the pipe all the way to the pond.
Yeah, that's what was asked for in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did this last rainstorm, did that add anything to your rows at the golf course?
I don't think so.
Okay. The only reason I'm asking is because FEMA was in town.
Right.
And if we qualify for FEMA, you know, there might be some way to piggyback something on it.
They may be trying to justify some of it. I'll leave that to others, but it was put out to bid. Apparently there's funding for it. Okay. And that's all I have.
That's it, okay. Right. Ray's not here, not here, not here. There's no old business. There's been no applications. Like we said, you know, we will still entertain something if it does come in. And on big discussion of the 2025 course rates, I'm not looking to make a decision tonight. I do want to make a decision next month. I'll just for next meeting too, because I don't have to go over it. The front page, it's just what I usually do. I go back, I look at all the local golf courses, and I pull all the information I can get from them offline. I changed some of the courses per Marty's suggestion. I pulled in, you know, can't spell Southington, but Southington, Hunter, Timberland, Goodwin, and Kenny are the two Hartford courses, and Stanley. We can't compare with, well, Fairview doesn't have season passes. Oxford Greens, we can't compare with Oxford Greens. They're very expensive. But that's what that page, it just tells you where all their greens fees are, or season tickets that they do have, and their cart fees. The next page is the first columns are 2024 rates.
Excuse me. Yeah. Where are you? Oh, I must have the wrong agenda. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you have the regular one.
You have the regular one. Okay. I got it. It's right. I have one here too. Not this. Oh no, thank you. All right. So this is the agenda item. New business. What are we?
You're on B. New business B.
Business B.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So nothing discussed under new business A?
No, they want, if someone comes in, again, we'll just may have to authorize it down out of the office. If it comes in September, it's going to be within the next 4 to 6 weeks. I would just advise you guys to go ahead, the department, go ahead and make a decision on it. Instead of sending it to us.
Thank you. All right, I'm ready. Thanks, Doug.
Yeah, and then the next one, you'll see at the title, ABC.
Are you on the second page or the first page?
I'm on the second page, I'm sorry, the one with the hygiene, mine's back.
Are you done with this?
No, I got questions. Yeah, no problem.
Or maybe something just to note,
Yeah.
I think we probably talk about this every time. But like, it's so, if you look under season tickets, there's so many options for Crestbrook and there's few for the other ones.
Yep.
Does that hurt us, do you think, or help us? Because does it help us because we're giving so many more options? Like if you look at the other page.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, on a lot of them,
Like family golf, nobody has military. I think it's good that we have military.
military is good, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did we discuss this partially already? Because I know Jessica, it makes reporting and a lot of the things we do difficult, not necessarily consumer friendly either during the checkout process.
Oh, I don't remember.
She didn't come to us with
Okay.
which is fine.
But I think we were concerned about, we wanted to simplify it. I'm sorry if I'm.
That's okay. That's okay. No.
But will the enterprise fund be isn't there surcharge? Maybe that was before we had the fancy. I don't know if we can remove that.
I have an option here for
Okay,
that.
good, thank you, Kevin.
Well, anyways, I just noted
Can we do
that. I was just looking, I'm like, no, there's so many things that we're offering here, nobody else does.
We don't get many.
Yeah.
You get, the executive, I know we instituted, we thought maybe the business would come on board and, get a pass, you could give it to employees or friends.
Yeah. Well, that's true, three lines there are corporate ones.
Or corporate.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if you're a corporation, you're gonna probably be a member of Waterbury or Watertown.
Whatever.
It's
all right, so
military got the family, everybody has a family golf for the most part.
The corporate passes, the biggest ones, fire department, police department, water.
Oh, so we do have a few.
We have a few of them, like Extraordinary or Sunset Grill used to buy one, I don't know if they still
Yeah, they
do.
still do. In Martino.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right, it was just a
Doesn't hurt that.
observation.
Doesn't hurt, it doesn't.
It's there.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to.
Okay.
And then, if you look at, the first column is the 2024 rates. The second column with the little A on top, would just, do we stay status quo or we stay where we are? B, and you'll see the first change, and talking with Marty, he's so booked before 1 o'clock on the weekends. He thinks up until 1 o'clock, we should do a flat $70 a round. It would include your cart and your round of golf. It's an increase of about probably $5 to $8, $7. And then after 1 o'clock, you go right to your board rates, and your board rates are. Believe me, Fairview's 85, Oxford Greens is 100. Anybody else in the area?
Yeah.
I defer that.
Yeah.
Just Marty. Marty, I mean.
Well, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, don't say, but I would just.
And
I wouldn't even comment on it. He knows better.
Yeah. So. And I said, do we make a, and then just me, do we not allow walking before 1 o'clock? That's a tough one. That'll keep pace of play going if there's a pace problem.
But there's a lot
or if
of
somebody
going to say, aren't there a lot of people that they like to go out there and walk?
And Marty, that's something Marty would know. If he knows, hey, okay, you guys are fat, you guys move, there's no problems with you. They can go off. That could be something that's a discretion of the pro.
Yeah.
And again, in all of these, I didn't change any. I didn't suggest any greens fee changes because we're in the ballpark with everybody.
Yeah.
$1 here, $2 there. So then I went down. I really just looked at the season tickets. Then I looked at season prices. Going up anywhere from I think it was, $50 to $100 a ticket because we are a lot cheaper. Take Waterbury out of the equation, we are a lot cheaper than a lot of the other golf courses. And also going up a little bit on they hemmed and hawed last thing, but up a little bit on the military. I mean, it's not breaking the bank.
Yeah.
How many military do we sell?
Probably, I think it's like 15. It's not,
it's, even if we kept it the same, it's not going
to break us.
Exactly.
Yes, it's not going to break us. What happens is a lot of the seniors, I know the guys I play with, the Stompers, Tony Stopper, they were all military at one point. If you buy a military pass, you have full access to the course. You buy a senior pass, technically you can't play mornings on the weekend.
Oh, you can't.
No. It's a pace of play thing. But again, Marty doesn't stop you if he knows, you know. Yeah, don't get mad at me, Joe. But if Joe wanted to go out and play, he plays quick. And the last column is the same thing with the weekend thing. And then you'll see, I looked at it and I removed the ones with the surcharge. It basically just affects the full and the senior. And I would elimination surcharge. $100 of each pass would go to the surcharge fund. And then I went up with the military to also include the surcharge. And that way that goes over. And then I left all the passes the same.
Mm-hmm. So there was some discussion a meeting or two ago about doing away with the surcharge.
Right.
Yeah. And so you're just going to stay with it.
So it's an option. If we get rid of it
and Jack, you have to increase it because
yes,
for the first time, I actually was with somebody that was really pissed off at Waterbury on their surcharge.
Really?
They thought it was, because they had a season ticket,
yeah,
and they were just annoyed
that they had to pay.
I got to pay this. I just put it in the season pass, and I'll jack it up by a couple $100 and I'll.
And
right, and I'm good to go. But
it's another thing you got to think about.
Right,
but that's what these people play like 50 to 80 rounds a year.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So they're getting their money.
But with C, because if you look at getting rid of the surcharge, I didn't raise the pass price because you're going to pick up some monies from the people that have to pay the extra $125 from this year.
Yep.
Kind of a goodwill gesture if we do it that way.
Did we ask Martin what he thought about the surcharge?
No, not yet.
Okay. So they just
no, I'm gonna have
his feedback.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure he won't. It'll make his life a lot easier than
Yeah.
But
less accounting.
Yeah.
So you didn't up the charge. You didn't up the passes.
Not in C.
Right.
Only in B.
But you didn't up it. But in C, you're eliminating the surcharge.
Right. So if you do a full with the surcharge, you now have to buy.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So it's just our way of saying, hey, look, come on, you're coming on board here.
Yeah.
We're not going to raise the season pass prices this year because of that.
Okay.
So I mean, look it over. I want to have you give a copy of this to Martin. I'll see. I'll see him eventually.
And I just a plug here. I think the junior golf and the college golf, that is a great idea to keep where we are and not change that because. What comes to my mind is that a lot of these college kids, when they're done with college, this will be their
home course.
This will be their
yes.
Even if they're from Waterbury, it's probably be their home course. So I think that's a good idea by keeping those prices the same. And,
so I want the youth on course. That's the biggest thing. And we're afraid now. With a possible recession coming in, the first thing that's going to be affected is going to be the golf course. In town, that expendable money goes away.
It's discretionary spending.
So those are my thoughts on that. Please look it over and we will discuss it further next month.
Okay, well, we got to vote on it.
Yep. I don't want to get the council and then.
Yeah.
Al's going to have a 42 slide PowerPoint for us next time.
And then
I'm still scratching my head about the surcharge. I never understood the surcharge.
The surcharge. When the golf course was making money, it only dealt with season pass. There is surcharge money that comes out of everyday green fees also.
Right.
I thought that's where it went.
It goes into a special fund for course enhancement.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's how 1 year we paved all the things with it.
We just keep track of money for special improvements.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And we had a ton of money.
But now, if we eliminate the surcharge, we'll still take it out of what we're charging for.
Right. I suggested $100 out of each season pass. Automatically be done.
I just want to state for the record, I believe that might be a decision that has to come either from the finance director or that, because if the surcharge was legislated when the course was, there could be some legislation by council.
Yeah, we can make the recommendation.
That's what we'll get done next month. You can then go to who you have to go to with our recommendations and can we do this? And then it's still got to be approved by our town council.
Town council has the final stamp on it.
Yeah. So, what were you going to say, Bill? I'm sorry.
I was just to say that with anything has to go.
Oh, no,
It's about the
you said
last.
something about, we used to have a lot of money.
Oh,
Let's not go here.
all that money, okay, on a yearly basis, because they went to this enterprise fund and zeroed everything out. So whatever was left in the surcharge, first of all, it paid for the deck at the restaurant. It paid for the swimming pool being rehabbed. Swimming pool was already there when it was purchased, okay?
Yeah.
It paid for the original installation of the tennis courts and over the years, but they kept zeroing out every year. Where any business person knows, you keep money in a capital fund from year to year, and if business is bad in a year, you have something to fall back on, so you're not, okay. And then it goes back to that administrative fee they took out for 20 years, $43,000, $941,000 total, which they took off the top every year. So then when we had the recession after 2008, okay, the first thing was, well, raise the rates, and they raised some rates 43%, and we went from 400 season passes down under 150. Okay, which hurt us for a while. It took us a while to get back to this point where people, rates are good, we're competitive and stuff like that. Well, in the meantime, we had a couple lean years, and they kept adding to that deficit. Well, the deficit got up to about $660,000, and over the last several years, we've been working it down. Okay, with this year here, we should be in the black based on what we've been doing and getting the numbers that we have through Jess, not official upstairs, but through Jess, so that we should be at the point, Alan, now where surcharge money should be going in for capital improvements and stuff at the course.
It sounds like, to me, getting rid of the surcharge sounds better if you can still make up the money to do the update.
Right.
That's,
So they just hide it a little differently.
yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
This year here, so now some of the things that we had put in for a grant 3 years ago now, for the sand traps and everything, and it made it as far as the governor's desk.
$250,000.
Yeah, and it got killed on the governor's desk. It didn't make it any farther than that.
I asked Joey,
Yeah,
you're paying $250,000 for sand.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me it was for the sand traps.
It was a trap improvement for
Yes.
improvement, yes.
Yeah.
So, all right, then we'll just move on to discussion of parking signs. This is something that's gonna come up in the full meeting, but as you know, me and Billy have been complaining and all about the whole parking area around that around the restaurant.
Yep.
So we went up there one day, and you'll love my little kindergarten drawing by hand. I thought that came up pretty nice.
I thought it was an excellent one. Much better than I thought.
But we looked at, those are all the signs we want to add up around that corner. Some of them are just directional, some of them are drop off, but just too many times, you know, we get cars parked on that corner. And unfortunately, it's usually not customers, it's usually somebody that should know better, that is a member of the restaurant. And this, by doing this, this also will open up ramifications. The police department can come through and say, hey, you're parked in the go-away zone, and you're parked in no parking lot.
The map you gentlemen are looking at, okay, real quick. The second page is the actual what would be on those signs, they're numbered. Oh. And then each one of the page is a picture, okay, of what, okay. The number ones, okay, first of all, we cannot, I already talked to the fire marshal, Kim, this goes back over a year now. We cannot put anything saying fire lane other than directly in front of the building. Can't put it across saying it's a fire lane. We can't put it up in the corner saying fire lane. So ones marked number one on the building are going to be fire lane, tow zone, and owner's expense. Number two is a fire lane sign, but it's on a pole, and it'll be mounted to the front railing in front of the Bennett room. So basically, and then number 7 is on the asphalt saying fire lane. Okay, that is it as far as fire lane goes.
The pavement is going to be marked, though, right?
In front of the
Right now, it just says no parking, no parking. We will put fire lane in the middle. That is all we are allowed to do as far as fire lane. The rest of it is number 3 is a sign across. We have golf cart parking only and everything, but the head chef up there considers that his personal spot, parks where all the golf carts are. We'll put a sign, no vehicle parking, tow zone at owner's expense. 4 is, would be mounted off the guardrail. I'll give you a chance to look at the pictures. 4 would be mounted off the guardrail, and it's gonna say pool entrance, because all summer long, you see people pull right in front of the entrance to Ballard to go in the restaurant, and the people that have to walk down to the pool, heck with them. Number 5 would be no parking tow zone. Number 6, there's 2 of them, same thing, those will be post mounted. Okay, saying no parking tow zone. Okay, the number 11s you see there, those are the curbs. All they would do would be painted yellow. No writing or anything on, just the normal yellow you see on the curbs. Number 9, it would be a sign saying pool parking for the upper lot, because the sign on the right side of the thing has 4 different things on it. They're all about 1.5 inches high, and to try to read that, forget it. It would be a dedicated sign saying pool parking lot, so people see it in a nice big bright. Number 8 would be a sign that would go on the building. Number 8's in the first couple pictures, you'll see number 8.
It's next to number 1.
Right. The number 8, and that would say handicap ramp.
Because about the pool parking, where is that? That's the parking that's in the back.
Yes. Up top. That's why we had that hillside cut in and everything, and it's handicap. It's ADA compliant for the less than 12.5 degree tilt on it. The number 8 would be mounted right next to that ramp. Because the same thing. I see them pull right in front of the handicap ramp all the time. And then I talked to Michael. We're just got to get the torch down from the maintenance thing and heat up the pipe at the bottom, so you can just move that pipe so it's straight again, and then put a little paint on it. But that's the sign. We've been going over this for years and asked the restaurant. So now, and then once the signage is in, just tell the police department when you're doing your drive-throughs, if there's somebody, tag them. That's how they're going to learn. And again, it opens up if the emergency ambulances or stuff had to get through there. Because in the summertime, you know, understand, yes, trucks to drop off, everybody knows they're not parking there, doing a drop off and they're leaving. That's understandable for the restaurant to move their stuff in. But you got the same basic people. There's a black Mercedes, there's pickup truck there.
It's gray Subaru pickup.
So that, you know, this is something that's been a sore subject for a long time, so we're finally gonna do it and get it done.
So just a suggestion, and something that I dealt with on economic development. Once you do this, the first couple of months, and I know it's gonna be black and white, it's gonna be crystal clear, but I would ask the police to put a courtesy card.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, just
For a couple of months.
yeah, like a warning.
Because that's what I was mentioning on Main Street in the past, when the people were parking too close to the crosswalk.
They still do.
I know, but then they started tagging them out of nowhere. So we didn't enforce it, and then all of a sudden
the policemen doing it, okay, around a normal beat, they're gonna recognize the pickup trucks. They're gonna say, okay, I put 2 courtesy things.
Yeah.
I'm not saying forever.
A month later,
just get
2 weeks later, the same truck is there, now I'm tagging.
Right.
Yeah, but they're gonna see the
Let me
repeat
ask a
offense.
question, are these tollway zones?
What?
It could be.
It could be.
We're gonna mark those tow zones
So who?
at owner's expense.
If we mark them as tollway zones.
Well,
then
my point is the enforcement, if it's not enforced, it don't count.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yep. Well, as I said, you start out with the courtesy cards, a couple of them, and then it only takes one. You tow one vehicle out of there, and word spreads real quick, and they're serious. And they've got all that parking down below that's what was for their employees. And I said it, not in legal parking spots. You go up there on Easter Sunday for a brunch, and I go up a little bit early, and oh wow, busy day. There's nobody here yet. Where are all those cars? Oh, instead of parking up top, they're parking down below. Oh, What about your customers? That should be for you're saying you're busy, so you're letting your employees park in that right there, when you should be telling your employees, no, you park down below and leave the parking for our customers. And I said, you got employees right there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? To me, if I own the business, people park here, let's leave this for our customers.
Quick question, is this area here the golf cart parking?
Yes, that's the golf cart parking.
Now, do we, what's the word? Not like, but do we like, do we want the carts to come down there, or do we want to keep them up in the top? Because now they park their carts there to go inside the restaurant, have a few beers, now the carts are sitting there. We can't get them out anymore.
People use it, and we've never had a problem. And we felt it was an amenity for if somebody wanted to go down and then go up, or if somebody's playing 18 and they want to get something bigger than the snack shack, they could go down, get lunch, and then back in the cart, back out.
But I've never seen too many.
I've seen a couple.
Yeah. If it's not an issue, yeah.
But it does kind of block off.
And I'd rather that be the loading than unloading zone.
Yes.
Yeah, in front of the building. If we could talk that. I may soften the signs up a little bit and test them.
Yeah.
Tow away is not, you gotta be careful with that stuff.
That's why I said tow's on at owner's expense. That's what was recommended to me
By whom?
when I asked policeman.
I don't know, I think the lawyers might have a field day with something like that. You tow somebody's car and we're on the hook potentially for liability, I don't know. I have to.
Well, that's why we're discussing it.
about that.
Well, I mean, certainly it's up for discussion. I mean, you throw something out and you see if it flies. If it doesn't, then you modify it. And so,
Well, maybe you put those Chinese handcuffs on the wheels.
All right. So that's all that was. It'll come up in our, it's also gonna come up probably in our full meeting. So with that, we'll make a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, second. Those in favor?
no.
No, okay, 6:34.
All right, hold on, we're still on camera?
Yep. It's upside down.
We know, but just in case somebody's looking.
What are they thinking?
How's life maybe lunch?
What are they thinking?
It happened at a town council meeting where somebody leaned over to look on a cell phone and then somebody put an FOI in, what were they talking about? I just said, we don't have cell phones.
Not in the meeting.
Call the meeting to order, please, at 7:01. Okay, roll call, please.
Hilla Rosa.
Pavanelli. Joe McGrath.
Now, Nickel.
Peg Jermaine.
Bill Donnelly. Okay. We have nobody here for public participation, so we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from Thursday, August 1st.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Was there any?
I wasn't there.
Okay, so now, when we go to approve, you can say it's
Okay.
Okay.
I couldn't think of the name.
Was there any additions, deletions, corrections that needed to be made to those minutes from August 1st, 2024? No.
No.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions?
One.
One abstention. Okay.
Now.
Correspondence. I have just a couple pieces of correspondence. The first one was rather lengthy, only because it is a legal matter, good for us. Gentleman recently passed away, David Kaufman, and in his will, he left a couple entities. The Watertown Police Department was one. Park and Recreation was another. And then the Foreman School of Litchfield. He left the Watertown Police Department and the Watertown Park and Recreation Department, both $2,500. And he left the Foreman School up in Litchfield, $1,000. So most of my packet here is the legal thing about the will and what's gonna be done, and all the notaries and things like that, and when the will is gonna be read. So basically, there's nothing that the town of Watertown has to do. Just sit back, and when everything is adjudicated, we'll probably get a check for $2,500. And when we get that check, then we can decide where it should go.
Okay, that was what I was gonna ask.
Yeah,
Where does it go? What fund or?
Yeah, we put it in a fund, or if there's a special thing there. Okay, the second one was Carrie Godfrey's report about all the things. The second night out on Main Street, August 17th, went very well. Again, lucked out with the weather. Those were if and ands,
yes.
So we worked out. All the stuff with the pool, summer programs, all went off without a hitch. Again, it was great to see Sylvan Lake open. One of the things Michael can tell us, we did have, thankfully, at the end of the season, the second major storm we had did some electrical damage down at the pool at Crestwell. And hopefully, like Michael said, when they go to start it up, we'll see if what they repaired, fixed, if it transpired anywhere else. So, got another one. There's a request in from the Swift PTSO, and they want to do a fun run, pajama run up at Veterans Park. Okay, of course, it being Board of Ed related, we wouldn't charge a fee. Okay, but they still have to pull the permit. But the one thing on here is request use of inflatable obstacle course. That's one of the things that insurance with the town, but they did said a liability waiver to be used for any participants required. Again, we went over this years ago. That's why it was put in, because of inflatable and bounce houses, insurance regulations. Jungle gyms, bounce houses, moonwalks, and other like items are not allowed. So we'd have to decide, okay, on this permit, whether we're going to say, yeah, inflatables are okay, or no, we're going to stick to what we have in the current rules and regulations, and no, they're not permitted. Big thing at Veterans Park with the inflatables too was lanyards and 10-yards that hold it in place. Me hit, you got irrigation lines for that field up there. A lot of people maybe not be aware of that. That field does have underground irrigation that we can water the field. And that was always a big thing up there, even with the fall festival. People want to put up walls for sitting. No, nothing goes in the ground because people just don't know where they are exactly.
Are we discussing this now?
Okay, I'm going over the thing. I'm going to make a motion now that we discuss the permit for the.
I'm there under new business.
Yeah.
It's already on there. Review and consideration submitted through applications. It's on there.
Submitted application.
It would fall under that.
So it's under that. All right, thanks. So we'll go back under review of consideration submitted applications under new business. That's the only thing here with the Z-bump. And then that was it for the correspondence I got. So the good one is $2,500. And then Carrie's update of everything that happened. And then going over this permit for the pavilion. And we go on. So correspondent, chairman's report. It's been a quiet ending to the summer as far as all the programs and everything. Now we're in full swing getting everything ready for the winter. Basically, the biggest thing in winter is all the basketball programs and getting them up at the different places and coordinating with the Board of Ed for times at the different schools for practices and games and things like that down the road. We don't have a lot. I do have to ask everybody their personal opinion. I was asked yesterday for the Santa parade if I would be the Grinch, because I look like a Grinch. I mean, leave it open to the thing. Well, I go back at the rim.
Second the motion.
I think Judson School would go to 100%.
I did say yes, they need a Grinch for the parade, I would.
You're the man for it now.
I would do that, to pray for.
Well, his heart.
Just a joke, right?
But
Seriously, but I have an abominable snowman costume at home. It's a full body abominable
you can
snowman.
walk with me.
Yeah.
Abominable snowman and the Grinch together in the parade.
Let's make a motion. Ken does it.
I'll second that.
Again, everything's being put together right now, with the permits and everything, we're already pulled through the state highway to be shut down for that short period of time. Santa Parade each year has been growing and growing and growing, so it's a good thing, everybody has a good time out there. The fire department, you know, dials up a couple of the fire trucks with the lights and everything, and the different groups. It's one of those parades where it's not commercialized, it's not, we'll say, the Rotary Club having a float saying the Rotary Club and everything. It's not. It's more like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and the parades, everybody dressed in costumes and things like that. And then, of course, the big thing is when Santa comes at the gazebo, Santa handing, you know, letting the kids sit there, pictures, and handing out the candy canes and stuff like that.
We got a mailer for that today.
Yes.
I don't
Yeah, I got
remember
something in the
receiving
mail.
anything
Yeah.
before.
In the past,
Well,
yeah.
Miller asked for other social clubs to join the parade.
Okay, well, that falls back on Juliana Guerrero, who is spearheading, and she's very proactive in getting, like Michael says, next year coming up with the 50th anniversary of Crestbrook and things like that. You know, she's very, very proactive in getting stuff out there, and she did everything, the organization for the two Main Street water towns. Okay, so she's excellent when it comes to that, trying to get people notified, to get people out there. If you don't know about it, there's no reason for you to come. So she is very good with that. And the last two things, I did make a couple recommendations to Michael about, first of all, Jericho Road, maybe offering the resident up there to buy strips of land that are involved, because we're never going to use them in Park and Rec. They're on the other side of the power lines. Okay, some of the stuff over there is off wetlands, and they're on the far side of everything. And just maybe offer him, you know, to buy that, and then he doesn't have to remediate it because he'll own that part of the land. And I said the same thing with Cherry Hill. Once that's squared up, if they've extended past onto the town property and they really need that, we don't need from the fence all the way out to where the walkway is. We need basically less than maybe 2/3 of this room width for the walkway.
The only problem I have with that is what's gonna happen, you give
Right.
10 feet, they're gonna try to take 10 more feet. That's
Right, and
that's
if
what
I
it
want
is,
all that
about
stuff,
Cherry Hill.
I want that stuff all the way up against the
It's only-
walkway.
it's
I
only-
would just say it took us a long
Time to
time
get to where we
to
are.
get to where we are.
Yeah.
So to go back now and say we have to, I would just leave
Go
that.
forward and then.
Yeah, I think I would just leave it alone and not,
Right.
yeah.
But other than that, that's all I have. Director.
Let me catch up. The shorthand's not good tonight.
Shorthand. How many times I have to listen to the video? All right, I'm gonna first start with showing you the plan for Lake Wintermont, the boat launch over there. There is some funding in ARPA to be able to do some, I think the original plan was to paint this entire parking lot. I've scaled the project down to be able to follow within the budget. Does everybody know where we are here? This is Lake Wintermont Road over
This is
here.
Carmine's.
I want to continue with the handicap parking spot and a ramp up to the pavilion. And pave, have firm and stable, so that would be asphalt here, asphalt this section here. And try to repair this boat launch somehow, which is what I'm researching now.
This is not there now, right?
There's no plantings, but there's a
Right.
hill there.
Oh, there's a what?
Grass and hill.
Oh, okay.
But we won't do any landscaping.
Grassy knoll.
We've got to get out of the landscaping business. So there will not be trees.
Unless somebody wants to donate.
Well, even that,
Still, you
For
gotta
that
make
big-
it.
But then we gotta
we
maintain it.
gotta
Yeah.
weed whack around them and we cannot keep up with the weed whacking. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I'll have more information to present to you next meeting.
Okay. They're not gonna change water restrictions up there, are they?
No, it's gonna be, well, you know, I was originally thinking that maybe it would be okay to make that, because it's gonna be expensive to repair that bolt launch. So I've been spending a little bit of time up there. And I don't even think we'll be able to make a significant repair to the bolt launch with that funding. So I'll have to see what that price comes in. I don't want to keep putting gravel at the bottom of that bolt launch, but we do need trailers to be able to come in and out. It's not a carry-in only lake, even though it's electric motor only, no gas motors. But there's a couple of pontoon boats on there. I saw a fishing boat not far from there today. So it's a decent sized trailer. It's nothing huge, but right now there's a good foot.
Is the pontoon boat is electric?
Yeah, there's a few of them on the lake.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
So I'm working on that. I reported at the last meeting that we had some tree work at Crestbrook done. We did have an incident at the pool. Just as we were getting ready to finish the season off, we had only a few more days to go in the season. We had a mechanical issue, an electrical issue inside the house, inside the pump room. So we've got to do some work to the service panel, which is scheduled to be done so that we can properly close the pool for the season. And then while we're there, we can assess it to make sure if something's going badly, we have time to get a remedy before next year. I have a question probably, I guess, for anybody. Bill, maybe you would be the first one to ask, is that little park on Middlebury Road, probably in the area of Taft. There's a couple benches that overlook, I think, where there was some ice.
They ice skate there, yeah.
That is Taft.
That's Taft.
We even put the benches in years ago because at the time, before a lot of insurance problems, that was, we mow it all down. They got a little dam there. They would put the boards back in the dam, and it would be an ice skating area. Then it became an insurance issue, so the only town-approved ice skating will be at Taft Rink.
Okay.
And they still block it off, Taft does. And kids go out on their own and shovel it off, and you'll see them put up a hockey net on one end and go.
Right, because the benches there are in disrepair. And I'm not sure if that's something that I should pursue or I should contact Taft about it.
Yeah. We had said that would be good for Jack Staver to put the benches here, because Jack lived just up the street. But then the question came, well, if the town puts in the benches, are we now condoning the ice skating there in case anything happens? And it pretty much died there.
What was the reason for the benches again? You said for insurance purposes? We put benches?
No. If we put the benches in.
No, before you said.
No, they closed the skating because for insurance purposes.
Yes, but not, the benches were there pre.
Okay. We had an agreement with Taft that we get flooded and the town would be allowed to free skate it.
Yeah.
So the town put the benches in.
And that's Taft's property.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I don't think Taft would have any problem replacing those benches.
Right. Yeah. If it's their property now,
Because one of them's a rotary bench.
Okay.
But that was the thing, the town doesn't. And in fact, last fall, I thought I saw no skate signs up there, but nobody enforced it. The kids get out there.
There was no ice last year.
I was gonna say, last year, I don't think they skated on there.
Pretty bad.
And probably living for 1 week that it was cold enough to maybe it was the skating up there.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's Taft.
Mike, because I'm old, I can tell you that the reason there's no motorboats on Winnemog is that around 1963-ish, a guy got killed out there in a motorboat. He went flying across there, and there's a couple of low spots right in the middle of the lake. Okay. And there's actually a road that goes under there. You see it when they drained it all down there. There's a road that cut across, and eventually got flooded. But down towards the Winnemog Estate side, there was a bunch of stumps, and the guy went flying in the middle of the night, hit the stumps. He went in and he got killed. So after that point, there was only one boat that was allowed on that lake, and that was someone that lived right on the shoreline. but it was for emergency purposes only.
Yeah.
In case somebody was drowning, they would take the boat out, but the guy sort of donated himself and his boat, but he never took the boat out onto the lake. It was just strictly emergency. So, but going back, that's how long ago that when all the motorboats stopped on that lake, it was mostly, well, back then there were rowboats because there really was no electric back then.
Yeah.
So, but just to give you an idea, but somebody did get killed there years ago.
Okay, so I'm doing some more research. I think that's a park where I'd like to fix the boat launch fairly quickly, get a handle on that and the pavement and make it ADA accessible to the extent possible. And then perhaps down the road have another mooring or bulkhead with a dock so that you can walk on a dock and put your rear end in the vessel and something that you carry, not so much trailer.
Kayaks.
Yeah. But we'll see. Well, that'll be on a wish list that may or may not go anywhere. But once I'll bring it to the commission first for you to endorse so that we can send it. I think that helps me when I present it.
And the town of Watertown will never, ever lower the lake again. We've done it once before, and then this accident happened. That was one reason. The other reason being that the people on wells up there, the wells dried up, and the town of Watertown was responsible for bringing in truckloads of water for these people, drinkable water and stuff like that. So they'll never drain it down again. First one, no water boats.
They put chemicals in to take care of the weeds.
They were doing it. They're still doing it.
Yeah.
We do that, but we're not going to be able to make any repairs if we can't lower the water.
Well, I think what Bill is referring to is they drain all the way down.
Okay.
If you have to drain it, we could bring it down
so that you can make the
drain it way down where you would see the road and.
But people like to fix their docks and things like that.
But this is when they had to replace the dam. They had to bring it all the way down.
Okay.
So that's
So I'm working on that, and I want to bring to your attention the list of programs that we're currently offering. As the chairman said earlier, Carrie presented her report, but here's just a few things that this is what our site looks like when you go to it from the public side. Got our special events. Can you see the mouse? You can. That's right. There's a couple of trips coming up. Radio City bus trip I've got in my calendar. Our youth basketball leagues, aquatics. Something that I noticed today when I was reviewing our activities newsletter are some of the slightly off the normal path, which I appreciate. Little science club, theater club, after school art class, things like that. I like the fact that we do more than just sports. And without the cooperation from the Board of Education, we couldn't do these programs, many of them. So I want to make sure that we give acknowledgement to that.
One thing that's missing up there, we have special citizen basketball.
Okay.
That would be good to add that. That started, Carrie, I think they were starting in October sometime. It's like more of an open gym. I call it basketball, but it's
Is that aligned with the unified sports?
No, I have a meeting with them. That's a separate issue. But
I will donate my time to referee unified sports.
Yep.
What's the Radio City bus trip?
Let's find out.
I think you go to Radio City.
That is, you go to Radio City for, I think this might be on the wrong place, but there should be a better description on that.
Could be the Rockettes.
Yeah, it is Rockettes.
That's Rockettes.
Yes, sure.
It'll be 12.
Oh, like the Christmas show?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's one of those you see like every 10 years or so.
Yeah.
50.
It doesn't change. It's been about that long for me, so I'm ready to.
Think of the best and fearless.
I haven't been to New York City in a long time.
Yeah.
You're lucky. I used to go quite often. Yeah, I'm told that it's different, but I don't buy into that stuff. I'm looking for. What did you ask for?
Radio City? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll give you a little bit more information about it.
I could go on there and check.
I'm sure it's the Rock City,
Rockets.
Rockettes, yes.
Yeah.
Rockets.
Radio
Santa
Santa
Claus
Claus.
comes with they have like 100 Santa Clauses that circle around on the stage and then come around.
I'll have to report back to you.
My daughters are freaking out.
We should have a little bit more information here. Well, all I can tell you is that leaves at 11 AM from the Parks and Rec office and returns at 10:30. 194 for people that take the trip.
Okay.
That was a fun trip, Mike. We just came back from the yard goats.
Mm.
And we did a bus trip up there last Sunday. With the special needs group.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, taking the motor coach up there, it was a beautiful thing. They drop you off right at the door. You know, you come right out and get on the bus and go home.
Nice.
So, but there may be something at Watertown Day at Yard Goat Stadium. I mean, just thoughts.
Little League does something every year.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah, a nice time. Yeah.
It's a beautiful stadium, yeah.
They do a good job. I was up for this year, Watertown Police Department was one of the honor guards.
Oh, yeah.
For First Responders Day.
Yep.
I went up for that game and it was very well done.
Yep.
And it was nice to see, the Watertown Police Honor Guard was one of 4. We had 2 police and 2 fire departments. Excellent program they put on.
And other than just browsing the website with you guys, that's all I have for tonight.
All right.
Okay. Subcommittees.
All right.
Oh.
All right, well, everybody Peggy was available for the first meeting. I don't think. No, you're done. Course is open, still open, quieting down. They made it through that storm quite well. No significant damage. Got pictures of the water on the course. I was up there that day just potting around. Like I said, the pool took the big hit. It got flooded out, but other than the normal sand traps washing out, there was no damage to the course. Yeah, like there was a month earlier with the first one. We're looking at rates for next year. I mean, I'll give you the usual packet. The first page is the compared to all the local golf courses. Like I told them, I changed some of them at Marty's suggestion to get us more into courses that are similar to Crestbrook. And the second page is the first column are our current rates. Then the A, B, and C column. A is if we made no changes. B is if we just raised season passes and added in get a little more money for the weekends. And then column C would be eliminating the surcharge, the non-surcharge, and going with just no surcharge. And we would leave the rates the same because the people that were paying the surcharge, it would still cost them another a couple $100 to play. But we're going to discuss it further next meeting. Hopefully, make a decision because I would like to get to the town council before the end of the year. And that way, because I also would like to, depending on which way we go, something an incentive to join early and maybe join by March 1st. And you will, if we do raise prices, you can still receive this year's price. That'll be depending on what we do about the surcharge. That's really about it.
And just Mike, is there any way for us to know how many rounds the season pass holders play?
Yes. Good question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was just curious if these people that paid for the season pass.
Even by category too.
You have to have a barcode or some way that people would sign in. Like,
yeah, they do. They do.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Just out of curiosity.
I think we've had that before.
Yeah.
Okay.
That might be good to
So I
know.
think that's possible.
And that'll help decisions in the future as far as.
Yeah. Because that helps you with your surcharge.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to jack up the annual fee by X amount of dollars, but somebody
right
50 or 60 rounds, and we jack it up 100.
He's getting
bucks.
Yeah.
But
They're saving 150.
right.
That
We got that.
it's all
120.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm just curious.
Okay, let's see, we're going to go on to policies and procedures. Can you please pass those down for me? My little copier doesn't collate. The house, so I could please. I collate my hand.
I think we're good. Okay, got here one.
Oh, he just got it.
Nice.
And sure Michael has seen this, but please hand one over to Michael.
Okay, oh.
She gave
Yeah,
Paragraph.
At the last meeting, I had brought up that I had gone through the park and noticed that there was an inflatable on a Sunday, and got by me the first swing through, but the second swing. And we talked about, because we don't have any kind of deposit, and the most that we could do is call them up and tell them you were in violation. And the person can say, yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay, so that if anything happens up there, and it goes back to Michael, I think, carry it in, carry it out. Same thing, if there's a big mess up there, you have no recourse against anybody. So I asked, first of all, we handed out copies of the current permits. Okay, Caitlin Sanzone and Mike's staff took the time and went through. The biggest difference is at the bottom of page 1, page 2 was in such small type that you needed a telescope from the Hubble space station to read it. And it was really, Peg has one, she can show it everybody. Yeah, I mean.
Pretty small.
Yeah, pretty small. Okay, so she expanded it for my instructions to a full page, so it's there. And some of the things on that page are also mentioned on the back page. And I had asked that we go through and look at it and see. If everybody is in agreement right now with, they like this format, okay, then I'm gonna ask everybody, we've got time, you don't need these until 2025. Now it's a lot easier to read and move things around. And I said I wanted to add, and if it was me, I would add it over here, some kind of a little logo type of thing. Carry it in, carry it out. And explain that that's what the policy is going to be in 2025 going forward. You bring your things in, you bring garbage bags in and take it back with you and dispose of the garbage. Not a ton of water now.
Does it say on here anyways?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
We want to add in. So I'm saying right in this area here, so I'll make little notes. That was my first recommendation, and the second recommendation would be coming up with a fee. Okay, it's a deposit. It's paid back if John Buno or Ray say, yeah, everything the next day was okay. If they say no, we had to go down and send a couple guys over to the Veterans Pavilion and pick up all the garbage around from the party. They left garbage bags here or whatever, and say no. Then we call the person back and say, well, you left all your garbage here and had to be cleaned up the next day, so you lose your $100 deposit, $150 or whatever we decide would be an amount for the deposit. And that's something to think about. So right now for tonight, just want to get this copy out, and the type's a lot bigger, it's a lot crisper for everybody to look at, especially the acknowledgement and waiver. So that next meeting, the two things we can discuss, first of all, what would be the fee for deposit? So if the terms in here aren't met, then we keep the deposit to cover the time for the staff to do whatever they need to do to correct. And the second thing, like I said, is right in this space here, come up with some kind of logos on our own for the carry it in, carry it out initiative that Mike has brought forward to us. Michael has brought forward to us.
Can we just put that in the rules and regulations? How to handle garbage?
You can, but you know what? How many people read all these? It's like, yeah. If you got something that's sticking out a little bit, like a little logo thing that's a little bit bigger, it catches your eye. In the rules, we can put it in both places, in the rules and regulations too. But be honest, how many people really look at these? They sign it, they fill out things, and that's it. If you see, you got something, a little label or something right there that sticks out. I mean, years ago, the old thing was get a pink label and you know, that was the status quo years ago to get your attention. But if we take it and just make up some kind of look, you know, carry it in, carry it out, your trash, like that. So now, and then in the regulations,
definitely need it in rules and regulations.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely under the rules and regulations. Again, because we have time to work on this. I'm saying this is the next addition from what we started with at the last meeting. Go back through and come up with some ideas. And those are my two ideas. First of all, the deposit that's refundable if everything is okay. If it's not, then it's not refundable, and it'll cover the staff time for having to make it.
Who's gonna check? Who's gonna check that they've done what they were supposed to do?
Well, we'll know, because the next morning, if John Bruno has to send a couple guys out to clean the pavilion at Veterans Park, we're gonna know right away that it wasn't done. If Ray has to send a couple people down to the pavilion at Crestbrook to clean up, we're gonna know right away. They're gonna say, hey, they're gonna tell Michael right away, Michael, I lost a couple hours, I had to send, or I lost an hour sending 2 guys down to clean up from the party you had up here yesterday.
So there's only one party at a time?
What?
So you can't, there's only one party at a time, you can tell who the violator.
Yes. They'll have full permit, you'll know right away who it is.
They may go 9 o'clock in the morning to the come down here and say, okay, can I have my deposit back?
Yeah.
So are we gonna know by somebody from the town that it's been kept up, or they didn't keep it up?
If they can come down here at 9 o'clock and say, give us a second, we'll call up the park. John, did you have any problems? Ray, did you have any problems?
But by 9 o'clock is what I'm saying. Are they gonna know they're gonna go to each one of these places by 9 o'clock and know whether it was left?
Well, the first thing is there's not that many permits on any given weekend.
There's 6 things though.
Yeah. John has a lot to do. John would have the most to do. Okay, yes.
You go contingent on report or contingent on.
All I'm saying is they could come, when they might not know, what do? We tell them, hey, we can't give it to you now.
Well, first of all, they're not getting any money at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning anyways. Because it's gonna have to be a check issue.
Well, okay, that was my other thing. Are you okay handling money, giving it back?
I don't think this is practical unless we have somebody to inspect the facility at the conclusion of somebody's event.
That was my thought. Cause they can turn around and say, hey, I cleaned up, I don't know who.
Somebody else's crap was there.
Yeah, I had it Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just, these are all things that I think it could come across.
Okay, well, that's what we're discussing now. Do we put the positive?
Yeah.
Those are all legitimate ideas, and if we decide that, no, we don't, we just keep it the way it is, and then we keep it the way it is.
So I like the concept that you carry everything out, and I know Monday was a holiday, but we had bocce, special citizens bocce. We got together, a few of us went up there. You couldn't put a gum wrapper in any of the receptacles up there in the whole park.
They were full?
They were stuffed full. I mean, beyond stuffed full. So, I like the concept, but were you planning, Mike, to take those barrels out? Or
no,
okay. I wasn't sure when you say you take
it right now. USA is donating their services to pick those things up, and that if they were, because I was up there Friday and I asked her even Thursday, maybe Friday, and I asked if they'd be tended to, knowing that it was gonna be busy all weekend.
There were bags just stuffed all the way to the top. I mean, you know, it was very noticeable because when I was driving around the park to get to the bocce spot there, they were packed.
I mean, I think a lot of that trash is not coming.
I believe
from
it.
the park users.
I believe it.
Where's it coming from?
Houses, people drop.
Somebody's got, I had Dunkin' Donuts in a muffin, I'm just gonna dump my Dunkin' Donuts coffee while I'm driving through, or the
Last year.
Well, you'd rather have that than them just dropping on the
Well, I guess
side.
you could bring it back to garbage because there is a dumpster up by the pavilion.
Last year at bocce, it's not this year, but last year, we saw a girl cleaning out her car. She just threw everything on the ground. Just everything that was in her car. And she left, she pulled out, and there's a whole pile of shit there, and we tried to push it into a pile because we didn't have gloves or anything. So we sort of kicked it into a pile, you know, so it didn't blow around. But that's what you're facing. I mean, I don't know how you resolve these. I mean, it's a society issue. It's not even
You gotta have it done. You have to have some receptacles up there. Just for somebody that's willing to throw their stuff out. So it doesn't end up on the ground.
When they apply for this, hand them a garbage bag and say, fill it up when you leave.
You know, it's almost like maybe a better way. I don't know if it's a better way, but you know, that dumpster that's over in that parking lot over by the pavilion, just put it here. All your trash has to go into that dumpster, but at least you're giving them a spot to throw the dumpster on site. It's just, I'm just sort of, like we're saying, we're just throwing stuff out right now.
Right now, brainstorming right now.
What's that?
You don't have a dumpster at each.
No, I just know about
the
veterans, so.
Veterans has a dumpster. And the dumpster at Crestbrook is not the towns, it is the restaurants. Right. There's two dumpsters up there, one for cardboard and one for the normal trash. And then the disposable oil, but those belong, those are the responsibility of the Sunset Grill.
But like you said, we'll think, you know, why don't we come to a circle back and figure out what's, you know, so. But I see there's benefits to what you're saying and you're what you're saying, but
implement it is
a tough, you know.
What Michael said, you know, somebody that would be there to verify at the end of the event that they did clean up. That goes back to where we wanted to have a park ranger. It's been taken out of the budget, not even put in the budget anymore, because it was a part-time position, basically a couple dollars above minimum wage. And you know, work for maybe, you know, 3 or 4 hours on a Saturday or a Sunday, Friday night. If there was a special event going on, then the park ranger would be up there for maybe an hour. You know, they wouldn't be on call in, so you wouldn't get 4 hours. But it's been,
but you can't
historically take it out.
But you can't have somebody go up there at the end of the event, pay them overtime.
Well, exactly.
Overtime,
and that would be 4 hours calling just
right. That's what I mean.
This way, a park ranger
defeats the purpose of $100.
Takes it right out. Okay, so that's
you're appealing to the person's sense of decency and hoping for the best. Some of them you're gonna win, some of them you're gonna lose.
That's the key, hoping for the best.
Really? Yeah.
Hope for the worst and expect hope for the best and expect the worst.
Is this available as a Word document?
Michael, under policies and procedures, you got
a question.
Is this available as a Word document?
I'm not sure, it might be.
If you would send it to me as a Word document, I think the format could be changed so it's more readable.
Yeah, I think I'll say do some paragraphs.
Yeah.
Instead of a bunch of word from.
We ought to look at some of the words here.
Yeah, I agree. We have
I run on one sentence that didn't make sense to me.
I wish you'd read it.
I can try to send a Word document to everybody.
Yeah.
And he could redline it for us.
Mike's budget didn't allow for punctuation.
Yeah.
That's why it's all missing.
Caitlin did this was the first swing through, which very appreciative. And you're right, okay, we can ask Caitlin to, you know, now if we want to put it into a Word document, paragraph wise.
Well, one of the things that I just happened to notice is cross things whatsoever from the beginning of the world hereafter until the end of time.
She simply took
I understand.
the type that
I understand.
I can't read it, I can't read it either.
We've got a lot of forms to.
They need to be updated, so, but, no. Okay, so, do you have anything under policies and procedures? I know you've been working on, or just updating us.
Still work in progress, we've got to reform, like we're almost building it from scratch.
Good.
Okay, next one I had handed out at the last meeting was the staver. That handed out staver. Want to get that going. My big pile here, let me get my copy out. Okay.
Was it in the minutes?
I'm gonna hand one. No, okay. In doing some checking on my own, a couple things. It's an endowment fund, which was okay, but down in a couple places I put Connecticut Endowment Foundation. The word endowment has to be scratched out. It's the Connecticut Foundation. There is no Connecticut Endowment Foundation, just Connecticut Foundation. So, thing that's checked out. So anywhere where I put Connecticut Endowment, it's not, it's just a Connecticut Foundation. And then, well, no, but it is an endowment fund to us.
Got it.
But the group that's giving us is not the Connecticut Endowment Foundation. So, open the floor for discussion. Anybody, any ideas? I mean, like I had to put the minimum fund balance of 25,000. You know, everything on this sheet is open for discussion. What we do, and I also said that I listed a lot of the ideas in my head, and I just put them down without numbering them. And I said, if anybody wanted to number them, like, well, Bill, I think that Director of Park and Recreation should be #1 here on this one. Okay, you know, we can move them around and see what, if anybody came up with a chronological order that they wanted.
I honestly forgot.
Okay.
So I apologize.
Right. You need.
No, do you want to send this
copies.
to us in a Word document and we can send the Word document out for this?
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
That would be
Do that, and then people can work it.
Yeah.
one of the things that I have done is I've looked at the audit for the past couple of years, and the Safer Fund is listed in the wrong place in the audit. There are 3 funds, and it should be in what they call the proprietary funds, and they don't list any accounts in the proprietary fund. The proprietary fund was built specifically for spending only the revenue from the interest and not the principal.
Right.
So they didn't list it in the right place at all. When I sent it to the accounting, asking that please put it in the right place along with the other funds. They didn't say yes, they would do it. They didn't say no, they would do it. But it is currently in the wrong place.
Okay, so Michael, it's in the minutes of this meeting now. So I mean, that's a simple thing for finance to move from. That's the finance.
You would think.
I would hope, yes,
Okay.
I would hope. Okay, yeah, so if we get this in a Word document, we go through, and like I said, the biggest thing was the chronological order, how everybody feels, and my wording may not be the best of the best, okay? So we go through, because I really want to get this done so that State Fund, because and it goes all the way back to Lisa Carew. When it first came in, Lisa, you know, drilled it into us. This is perpetuity, forever. And long after we're all off the commission, you know, we want to make sure that the people that follow us are going to be able to keep things going so that there's never a problem in the town of Watertown. As long as the stock market is good, you can expect a sizable check each year. And we can put things in, you know, like I said, doesn't have to be spent every year. You know, we can build it up for a larger project, okay? But one of the things I was a little nervous when we zeroed it out to finish the doggy park, but it was something that needed to be done. We all agreed upon it. Doggy park had gone way too long time-wise, and it needed to be done and over with. And It's nice. I can tell you one thing, I was out in Danbury way, I had to stop at, the school out there, Worcester School, and go over some stuff for upcoming basketball season. And they have their doggy park right across the street from the entrance to this school I went to. And it is beat. Our doggy park is really, we don't have a lot of dirt spots and garbage on the ground, you know. And vendors up above, Dollar General, Advanced Auto Zone. And there's not a lot of garbage coming out. There is some, okay, expected for businesses, but that whole general area down there is was perfect for the dog park. It's well used. I see a lot of people down there, and people in the town. I don't know, Facebook, I haven't heard any negative comments lately. You know, so I mean, it was a home run for the town of Watertown, the people in Watertown. You know,
they're all hot in Western room right now.
Last thing is, the town council will have final approval of any fund payouts. I don't know why, but I think we should put tacit approval of the fund.
the what?
They will have the tacit approval.
Yeah, I did that next to the last, next to the last sentence.
Yep.
There has to be a lot more meat put on that.
Yeah.
Because right now, I think we have to make sure that the town council knows that really at the direction of the Park and Rec Commission.
Okay. So when we get the word thing, add more meat to it, yeah.
We'll have, it's just.
The idea on that was that they do get the final say.
Right.
We can make a recommendation till the day is long.
Right.
If the town council says no.
Well,
What about, can they come and say, hey, we want that money
No.
to do something?
That's what garden.
That's what I want, yeah, that's what I wanna make sure is in there.
It has to be for a capital improvement project within the park and recreation. That's how his will and testament read, that the Connecticut Foundation let us know that. And that's why there was a question about, well, can we draw some of the principal and then whatever's left? No. Whatever he donated, that figure stays with the Connecticut Foundation.
Yeah.
that makes me.
That's it. That's set
That
in
makes me
stone.
happy.
Yeah.
And maybe that needs to be put in here. No attempt should be made to draw from the principal.
Okay.
Okay.
Add that in.
Something like that.
We can add it. Yeah.
When I talked to the foundation, they said they will not let money go.
Good.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was gonna
Yep.
say.
They will not let money go.
We should probably quote exactly what it is that I will imagine the foundation may have verbiage on it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Could quote it right there, pursuant to.
Yep.
Section
And
B.
foundation procedure.
Yeah.
I don't care about now. I'm worried about 20 years from now.
That's why we want to start this now, so that we give 20 years from now the foundation and the base to work with.
Right.
And by then, 20 years down the road, there's going to be some actions or possible actions, and if this takes care of it, then 20 years later, can say, well, 5 years ago, no.
Right.
Wasn't allowed then, we're not allowed to do it now. We get the thing and we go through. And the big thing too is I wanted to leave it open that we all know in the course of the year, another project comes up and say, well, no, this was number one last year. Well, yes, it was, but the commission has now deemed that this project that came up recently is more important than number one. So number one gets bumped to 2, and the commission at that time can say, this is now the new number one to work on. And it may be there's enough money to finish it all, so the old number one stays number one, but it can, the order can be moved back and forth by the commission.
Well, it sounds like an April meeting, all that sort of stuff would be.
Well, yeah, at April meeting, because you know what the check is for the year, okay? Positive. Director of Park and Recreation will have the figure saying, okay, the new balance from what was left last year, the new check came in, this is what it is, it's in the proper account, it's a 01 account or 07 account, I believe. Like,
It's one of the special accounts.
Yeah, okay, and say, this is the balance you have to work with. They say, well, there's a couple little projects here, nothing really major, nothing really capital. Maybe we can't take care of what normal budget. Or say, no, this is gonna have to go to a capital thing, and say, yeah, we have enough money. Let's look at it, get some quotes on it, and we're ready to go. Submit it up the ladder the way we're supposed to, and get the approval, and
Right.
That's the way we go.
Now, how would, this is just a what if, so we're not touching the principal. But what happens if we ended up with a project that was $400,000? Just, I'll pick a number out of this.
Okay.
And could we leverage the Stabler fund to pay that $400,000 if we borrow the money from the town?
Pay back the future.
And we pay back the town, let's say on a bond issue. We have a special project, and let's say make it easy.
No, then you're going against the principal. You can't.
No,
Borrow from the town and pay back the future.
So for the next 5 years, we're gonna take the Stabler fund,
The interest.
and we're gonna pay it back to the towns,
Yes,
because they gave us
we can do that.
$500,000.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Commission can do that.
As long as we agree on the project, we're.
Right.
Where are they gonna
If the town,
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, but what if, I mean, if something, God forbid, if something crazy happens at the golf course, or something happened at the tennis courts, and you had to fix something, like now, use the interest to pay back whatever you borrow from the
What
town.
would we do today if something like that happened?
I think
You have to go for a special
bond.
appropriation.
bond issue.
appropriation from the town.
But he may not have wanted this, and most endowments don't want their endowments to go towards maintenance.
Yeah,
Upkeep.
capital projects.
But for instance, like the tennis courts get washed away, which are pretty close. But could we use that money to fix or replace the tennis courts?
Repair, I want to read it again.
Okay,
but
no, I'm just-
repair sometimes can be a stretch.
Yeah.
But now to replace those tennis courts or upgrade the tennis courts, I think that would be acceptable.
Well, that's what I was thinking,
Right,
maybe if you can get the tennis courts in, maybe we buy the nets or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, just a thought.
We did have an incident at the golf course, Kenny will remember it. I don't know why they made me sign it, but I had to sign it to the town council as the chairman, where we needed sand for the traps. $6,800, $7,000. It wasn't a huge amount, but we had to sign a letter from the commission. I had to sign it that we're getting it from the general fund because we needed it. And at the time we were running in the deficit, that before any other deficit was paid, we would pay the town back. So when we got some revenues in, we paid the town back $6,800 or $7,000 to purchase the sand for the golf course. So that goes to what you're saying, can we? So we did it. I mean, that was a small amount, $400,000.
Yeah.
But it has been done in the past. There's commissions agreed to it, and the town was giving her $6,800, $7,000, and then went back to trying to reduce the deficit. But that has happened in the past.
Yeah, okay, just curious.
Much smaller number, but.
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion? Especially like what Michael says, is get the Word document. Now it's a lot easier playing around with things like that, so that when we come in, we have a little bit of, but the good thing about it is we're making headway. We've started something that we talked about for a while, and now we're in the motion of getting it done. Right. Good thing about it, it's not like we need to have it done by January 1st. We can work on it so that later on, as we said, that future commissions have something to work with. We laid it out there, and of course, maybe down the line, other commissions, and depending on how long we're all here, may decide that they need to tweak things like that, and then in the meeting, they would go over it and say, yeah, this is pretty much outdated, this is the new thing now. Just for ha-has, the foundation may turn around instead of March of every year, because of their accounting, move it to May. You get the check in May. So we have to just go in and say, okay, now, instead of March, approximately March 7th every year, the payment will come in May 7th of every year. Something like that, that easily be taken care of.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Market crashes. Can we lose that $2 million? Market crashes.
Yep.
Can we lose that $2 million?
I'd have to ask that question. I'm not sure how.
Financial people.
It's probably,
My guess it's an annuity.
Yeah.
Through some insurance company, and you're going to.
My guess too.
And probably every so many years, they change the rate of return. That's my guess. Yeah, I don't think they would put this.
it's not in a risky.
Yeah, it's not.
And by the way, if
Pork
there's
butters.
some credit, I don't care.
it gets to be where, well, yeah, all of us should be right now, we shouldn't be playing in the stock market with our 401s, but go back to the bonds, the lower risk stuff that's more guaranteed.
Next 8 weeks will be interesting.
Oh, boy.
Yes, it will be. Okay, so any more discussion on the statement policies?
One quick question.
Yep.
Mike, you're redoing a lot of the park and rec policies. This probably would fit into that group of policies, wouldn't it?
I think this will, I'm gonna try to do some of the policies just through the park, through the commission, and not necessarily send it to the town council. This will have to go through the town council, I would imagine.
And Michael's redoing existing, this is new. So we gotta give it to him first
Okay.
to do anything with it, which we have.
I just rather
He's doing
protect them on
existing.
my own feet as opposed to throwing it over the wall. Okay.
Yeah, because the town council on this one is gonna get the final say, yeah, the final thing should go through. And I would say that it wouldn't be a problem, because they're saying, okay, now we're protecting it, they know what it is, and everybody's on the same page with it. But yes, the final thing would have to go up to the town council, through the town manager, to say, okay, this is what we came up with, to make sure that down 20 years down the road.
So what if they push back? They say, no, we won't, we don't.
We ask them, where do you want to push back at?
Well, and we disagree with them. What happens then?
Well, I think it just goes back to the.
Then we
will.
We gotta find out what they don't agree with, they go back to it.
Okay,
Goes back to the original document.
Yeah.
that's it. Good.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. All right, new business, review and consideration of submitted applications for 2024. As I said, I don't have copies. There was, I can certainly hand it out. There was a,
I have it here.
you can put up on the board, guys.
Okay.
So
That's all that will and testament.
that's the will and testament, yeah.
There it is.
Okay. Yeah, here. Why don't we start, Michael, can you scroll down just a little bit? We'll start with the email. Back up, bring it up a little bit.
Right there, no, right there.
Bring it.
Right there, right?
Yes.
So I want to show them the very bottom. We're no, go up with it. The original, the very first email. Keep going. Right there. Right there. Good morning. I spoke to the Park and Rec office this morning to see what the possibility and logistics are. I'll let everybody read it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not at the high school where they would have to read to the kids because half of them can't read.
Ooh.
It is.
I gotta know what in November what a pajama ramen is.
I see my grandpa.
Burning your pajamas.
In November?
They live in the school every day, so.
If everybody's done, you can scroll down, we'll see, okay, now Michael's answer.
You're really planning to put these inflatables?
I want to know what the inflatables are.
I can show you a picture of it, I think.
It's like the blow up thing that's.
Well, it's not
Bouncy houses.
Is
Yeah,
it
it's a
that, or
bouncy
is it
house.
just something for the obstacle course? Because that makes a difference in my mind.
Let's see if I can find this. God, knows what I'm showing up there.
Doing it live.
Let's see.
I did it once myself.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say something like.
Here's page 2.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's there yet. Hold on. Oh,
It was like inflatables.
hold on, everybody, I'm trying.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Obstacle courses?
Fatal
There it
Ladies.
is, right there.
There you go.
So I'm thinking it'll be something like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
4-piece obstacle course, okay. Which,
Yeah, oops. Where'd that go?
That one doesn't look bad, but the other one looks like it could.
I mean, it could be a right, it could be
Yeah.
one side, it could move around.
Right.
half that size, I mean, it requires a lot of power too. So
Mike, if you scroll to the left and right, does it show you other configurations or?
One more there, go the other way.
There, okay, yeah.
What the hell is that?
That's an option.
That's
No, 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 no.
you gotta climb through it.
Yeah, and they have smaller versions, bigger versions.
Okay, that's fine.
So I think that's what they want, but again, I mean, I
don't know.
And to stay in good stead with the school board, I mean, do we know how deep those sprinkler lines run?
Well, they're not, I know they're not down 18 inches below frost line because they have to be drained every year.
First of all, I'll make a motion that we accept the application for the request of the use of the pavilion. Discuss.
I'll second it.
Okay, second,
Yes.
next second,
Yeah.
okay.
Now we can discuss.
No, my only thought was that if it was 18 inches, you can only use 3-inch spikes.
Yeah.
You know, so this way here, there's no way you could hit them. So, but I don't know what that number is.
Do we know that they need stakes?
Is that how all of them are?
Yeah,
I would assume
those are all staked down, so they don't move.
On a windy day.
Because if it's a windy day, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
also.
that obstacle course,
Do
when
we
you
know
jumping
they're
up
gonna-
and over the top, yeah, they're gonna stake them down for the people that own them, first of all, for damage. And second of all, sure, they got insurance.
But they could also stake them down with sandbags. I've seen those before where you put a sandbag down, you
And tie it to the
off.
sandbag.
Yeah, instead of going into the ground and then you don't worry about the string.
Yeah,
So
don't worry about
The other thing is, do we know where they're gonna put them? Are there definitely sprinkler lines there?
Yeah, they have a pavement, do they?
Across the whole field?
Yeah.
Just the
Field and
soccer
go
field.
soccer field, soccer field.
Are they in back on the baseball fields?
They have one.
No, there's no sprinklers on the baseball fields,
Is there
on the
sprinklers
soccer fields,
on the lower soccer field?
No.
Water?
soccer field number 1 is the only one that has
That's where the
everything.
concerts are.
Yes.
We use that.
That's across from the pavilion.
Right, okay, yeah,
So is that what they're looking to use? Is that where they're gonna set this up?
They want that the pavilion and
Did they ask
Can
for
we
some?
ask them specifically
Yeah,
to share
yes,
what inflatable
right.
Right.
they're planning to
Okay.
use?
And how they're.
How is it secured?
That's right.
And how is it gonna be due to the fact that there's water lines, irrigation lines underground? We need to know how these are gonna be secured to the ground.
And this is gonna be when?
they use the sandbag one, which is a great idea.
November? Oh,
So they got time.
so we got a meeting.
October.
But again, these are the kinds of things that you can talk to the folks that set these things up. It doesn't matter what arrangement you had with the person that you're working to deal with. The guys that are driving that truck, if you're lucky enough to get them to show up that day, they're doing whatever it is they need to do to get in and out.
Well, I would just say tie the room with sandbags. You can't put them in the
But
ground.
how do we enforce that again now? that
So I think
have
something that we
somebody
have to
there?
get an agreement with whoever's gonna put them up. I mean,
And then we're a third party to that.
yeah.
Yep.
And the representative from the PTSO needs to meet.
With us first, and tell them what they're.
Or get a letter from the guy that's gonna put them up saying, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You know, you got time to do it. I mean, it's only September 1st, the first, you know, so it shouldn't be that big a deal. And they have to run into this situation other places. There has to be other.
Yeah, but I don't wanna be a negative Nelly, but do they have to have an inflatable for something like this? Is there not enough
That's probably.
stimulation for these kids that they can not do this in an inflatable in November? I don't know, just me, I'm not sure.
It's probably a fun thing. And
Right.
aesthetically, it's a lot nicer looking than just running through a field and.
Or, yeah, what
Yeah.
are you gonna need? You need, if you're gonna do obstacle courses, then.
Yeah.
I mean, this might be actually safer.
I need bumpers.
Yeah. If you have
And a helmet.
like tires to run through, maybe you're gonna trip over the tires, get hurt.
And these are our future clients, so let's get them on board.
Yeah, so I'm trying to be as accommodating as
Right.
possible.
Right.
But just say we can't stake them, and we need a letter from the guy saying.
Well, and I could talk to John, and we could maybe walk the area, maybe there's some spots that we can sneak it in there that.
Right.
As long as it has our.
Yeah.
Explicit approval.
Okay. Now, the insurance thing, second part. It says they're willing to sign waivers. Okay, because now Swift Middle School PTSO is not the Board of Education. PTOs are not the Board of Education.
Right.
So it's not saying, oh, well, because it's the Board of Education in the town of Watertown, Park and Rec, our insurance policies, you know, are umbrella over everything. But we're not in that situation.
But the Board of Ed, I mean, that's sort of like hand in glove with the PTOs.
Yeah, but do they have insurance?
They probably do. The PTO probably does, yeah.
Really?
I was PTO president for all that years. Never had insurance.
Wow.
Yeah. I would ask seriously, that would make you my next thing, you know, the liability waiver is they're asking us to produce, I know for field permits and everything, each organization in their field permits to the town, their insurance carrier has to include, holds the town of Watertown harmless. Okay, that's part of the verbiage that is required when they get their permits for all the ball fields. Okay, whether it's soccer, lacrosse, or whatever the activity. So that's my next question is, you know, are they expecting us, you know, here's the liability waiver, we'll sign off on it. We don't do that.
No, I think they're saying that they're gonna have people at the.
They're gonna have it, so they can pull a one-day insurance policy for events. People do that all the time, a one-day insurance policy. But I'm making sure that, you know that liability, what does it do to us? We accept that.
I'd rather than not have the waiver signed. Just certificate of insurance and you're good to go. And we don't have people sign waivers when they're throwing an axe at the fall festival.
And those numbers, Mike, that I gave you months ago,
that
one-day insurance, it wasn't that expensive for something like this.
Yeah,
right.
You know, it's like we were talking about for a birthday party or something.
That's the solution, even for what you're talking about with people leaving it. The idea that they may be held liable is enough sometimes to keep them honest.
Yep.
That's where I think someday we may want to revisit when a certificate of insurance when you rent the pavilion. It's fairly common procedure.
Okay.
So they need a certificate of insurance.
Right.
The event.
What was the date they wanted? They wanted November 9th they wanted. Okay, Saturday, November 9th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The John-O-Rama. Sounds like a lot of fun. Special event list, it's a fundraiser for the PTSO.
It's going to show up in his pajamas.
They need to do.
Our bathrooms are still open in November?
What?
Are the bathrooms still open in November? I know.
That's up to you.
In October.
That's up to you. You make that call. What, you know, you see that, you know.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna have an event in November to this extent.
Yeah, very beginning in November.
So they're doing this as a fundraiser?
That's what it says, fundraiser. Special event list fundraiser.
And this is that Swift?
Are fees being charged? Yes, how much? $30.
No, it's the Swift.
No, it's a Swift Middle School PTSO.
$30 entry fee?
That's what it says. It says, are fees being charged? If yes, how much? $30.
With 3 kids?
Yeah.
He has a good point. Why don't they just do it at Swift?
They got a brand new field.
It's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, that would be better for them.
They don't have a pavilion.
That's not.
They don't have the pavilion, that's like.
They got a school.
They got tables, chairs, and tents.
Yeah.
Mike has a tent, they can play.
And they'd have to pay a lot more than $150 to be at the school, I'm sure, whatever we try. Well, actually, we waive the fee.
That's what
they may not be able to get the fee waived at the school.
Yeah.
They'd have to have pay custodians to be on site.
Yeah.
That's time and a half.
Probably police and fire.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as pavilion, they could always put up a tent on the basketball courts for one day thing. The tent would act like a pavilion.
But goes on the meeting in November.
But then they don't have the tables, they gotta get
over.
Yeah.
Because Ways may have
Ways
may have the field that day too. That's
So the Board of Ed can tell Waves, guess what, guys?
Yeah.
You know, same with us, we have to see, okay, if the field's available, if Waves for their permits, wall permits, which are, we have to check with Gary, all the permits and everything by now have been put in August and, approved. So, see if Waves has,
Vets as it is. We don't even know if Vets isn't booked that day. Do you know if that?
Yeah, I think we're aware of
Good, okay.
trying to make sure there's no contests and stuff like that. Then we reserve the right.
So what are we doing, what are we doing as far as insurance? We're telling them they have to come up with their.
Yeah, I think if you guys, I think it might not be a bad policy to when people want to come before the commission and ask us to waive the inflatables, we can, at that time, given an ample time, we can do a little bit of due diligence, but yes, require a certificate of insurance that lists specifically that inflatables are covered. Because that's where they may want to, again, I don't want to be a roadblock, but if we don't want the liability of it.
Yeah, we need to shift put the liability on them if we're gonna.
That wasn't that expensive.
Oh.
And that's what.
But if they don't have insurance, we don't even know if they have insurance. So what if they don't have insurance?
They don't have insurance, there's no inflatable of any type.
I was okay with these inflatables. It's because it's not like the bouncy house. You know, this is just that so they don't hurt themselves with like I said, I was giving an example, just like tires or sticks going across something and they got to climb under them. So this isn't, it's an inflatable where it's softer and they don't get hurt.
Unless they fight each other over the outcome.
Well, I don't think we're talking about somebody getting injured in the course or on the inflatable. It's the inflatable going up and blowing away, or somebody staking it up and hitting an electrical conduit or a water line.
Well, we have to, what you said before, I think if we were to be able to identify an area where they can put it so that it can be staked.
Okay, so what do we want to know? We want to know.
And you're talking about injuries. It's an obstacle course, then I'm assuming they're probably gonna have races, they're gonna be timing kids to try to win a prize or something like that. And there's a big difference, that picture right there on the screen. There's a big difference of sliding down on your rear end or sliding down on your belly head first and coming off the end, bouncing off and hitting your head on the ground, as opposed to sliding on your rear end and hitting feet first. And you know, you can't control that.
Yeah.
Kids are kids, they're gonna do whatever.
Jump all the way down.
I would just ask them, like, have the Board of Ed supply the insurance.
I think we just say insurance has to be provided.
Yeah, well, how they go about getting it, they want to go to the Board of Ed and that thing.
Yeah, maybe just suggest to them, you have the Board of Ed cover the insurance. And help, you know, it's sort of you're giving them a path to the insurance. Yeah. Somebody's not saying, oh my God, where am I gonna find the insurance? Right. Contact the Board of Ed. I mean, it's part of the school activity. I know it's off hours, but still, it should be, Board of Ed should cover that.
I think certification of insurance, bags of dirt to hold it down versus spikes.
Okay.
What else?
But that might not be necessary.
Right.
What if? Yeah, it's a what if.
These are just what ifs. This is just because when we go to vote, we're going to want to go back to them and say, these are the things, these are our concerns, or this is what we want to see happen. I'm trying to think what else there is.
That was the biggest.
That was the two things.
Insurance,
yeah.
Insurance and
insurance. How they're going to stake it down.
Where you put it. The fastest stake.
The staking and placement.
Right.
Yeah, the location.
Dependent on approval of the park superintendent of parks, John Bruno. So John should have the the map of where the individual lines are, how far out they're spread. Because I don't know what the spray width is on the south. You know, you got a 6 foot one, pipes are a lot closer. You get one that's 12 feet, the pipes are farther apart because the coverage is less. So John would know exactly. Because we've had some debt. That's how all this came up originally, because we had it was a fall festival where stuff was damaged, and the next time they went to bit all over the place, coming up through the ground and everything. So we had to spend sizable amount to go in and pull at points that we know was not supposed to be water coming up because it wasn't a sprinkler. They had to go back in, and that's why originally. And then the insurance with the people possibly getting hurt. That's why it became a big thing with the inflatables. And like I said, the tents, people put up the tents at Fall Festival, same thing, trying to drive the stakes in the ground. Well, Fall Festival is well aware that there's no, that's why on windy days, Fall Festival can be a bit nasty up there because we're not allowed to put any drawstrings to hold the tents down. Oh. Right, Kenny, you said, let's.
So the motion's out there.
Okay.
Seconded.
We seconded. Now you have to vote on it, depending on how we're gonna vote. If we vote yes, we're done. If we vote no, these are the contingents for them to come back to us.
Correct.
We're only gonna vote no if we want to send this back to them and have them correct it.
Right. Okay.
Which is in here, what we're gonna require with a no vote is a certificate of insurance. Possibly they go back to the Board of Ed and ask them for it. Insurance. Look, how are they gonna hold it down? They're gonna use bags of sand, they're gonna use spikes. We prefer bags of sand because we don't want to take a chance of ruining any lines. And the location of the said unit dependent upon superintendent of parks. That would be included in no to go back to them.
I know that the stakes could damage the water.
The water lines.
So otherwise they wouldn't know why we can't put stakes.
Right.
There is no electrical anywhere on that field. This is strictly the irrigation system water.
I think you gotta phrase it in a particular order. That it's first, it's all dependent on location, which is based on superintendent of parks. If there are obstacles or water lines where they wish to put the thing, then they need to have sandbags versus spikes. We're not saying they can't have them. First, let us tell you where you're, tell us where you want them, tell you where we can put them, and if spikes are allowed, then that's it. We end it right there. So if they can't put spikes, then they have to have.
So it'd be just a certificate of insurance, location, and then how you're gonna hold it down.
Right.
That 1, 2,
So
3.
maybe just amend.
To make swap the last two.
No, amend the motion to just add those to the motion. You say we're gonna approve this with the following conditions.
All right. Okay. Then I'll make a motion to amend the previous motion that we accept the PTO's request for the pavilion with
satisfactory
with the following conditions.
With the following conditions. Right. 1, certificate of insurance, possibly going through the Board of Ed. 2, location dependent on the superintendent of parks. And then 3, the method of tie down, be it whether it's sandbags or spikes.
Yeah.
Sandbags if it's going to be actually on the field and going to be interfered with lines.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Seconded.
That okay, Mike?
Okay, no,
Okay.
hold on for 1 second.
Yep.
I think you could get away with it, Ken, with all due respect.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep. Yeah.
Location and installation subject to the approval of the park superintendent.
So be it.
Yep.
So we won't say anything about tie downs or anything like that.
Okay.
Okay, so Ken made that motion, Peg seconded it.
Yeah.
An affirmative vote says we accept it with these conditions.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Mike?
I'm ready, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Bill, call for a question.
Okay. One last thing. Peg,
Gotta vote.
woke me up and she questioned $30.
Well,
I'm sure.
That's
not us.
That's
I know.
It's got nothing to do with
I'm
us.
just questioning that if they read this, that they're not gonna bring up multiple food trucks. I'm assuming they're $30, you're getting food for free.
We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know.
So we gotta make sure that the other part of it. Okay, so all those in favor of the motion with the conditions we just put in, signify by aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, any abstentions? Okay, Michael, you have it now, so we, yeah, we wanna work with them, we want them to have a good time, but like I said, that inflatable. And it's a lot easier with the Board of Ed, because we're working with the Board of Ed, and going forward, okay, we've set a precedent that these conditions, if somebody else, a charitable group comes up and they wanna have an obstacle course or bouncy house at Devon's, we've set a precedent that this is what we're gonna require going forward with other groups. So.
Come on,
Make a
I'll do
motion, I make a motion to adjourn.
Wow.
We're all done.
Yeah,
Second.
Carrie.
I'll second.
Mel, I got one question for you.
what?
8:23.
Is the pin on your hat upside down because you're against America
No,
and everything that's happening, or it just happened to go that way?
just.
Because I know you're, there we go, you're